What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson warns Anthony Joshua that he can't afford to telegraph punches with Tyson Fury. The former undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson is really looking forward to a potential full division unification between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Excuse me. The retired boxer is backing Fury to win. As the story goes, Fury's father was a big fan of Tyson Fury and named him after the Hall of Famer, as we all know. During his breakdown of the fight, Tyson did issue a warning. He cautions that Joshua will find himself in a lot of trouble if he telegraphs his punches in the fight with Fury. He said, "It's very interesting. Joshua is a masterful puncher, but you can see his punches coming. He telegraphs his punches," Mike Tyson told Eddie Hearn on BBC No Passion, No Point podcast. He said, "And that's just a recipe for disaster if you're fighting Tyson Fury and you're telegraphing your punches. A guy who's 6'7", come on." The handlers for Fury and Joshua are in serious negotiations, of course, to finalize this two-fight deal. The first fight would land on the date of May or June. So, Tyson believes there's a lot of great heavyweights in the division, but anyone who says that it's a bad division is just jealous. It's exciting, Tyson said. Tyson can fight Wilder again, and I like to see those guys fight each other over and over again. They're exciting fighters. And anyway, I'm going to stop there, okay? Because that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Now, I don't know what Mike Tyson has saw lately. I think Mike looks at a lot of preparation of Joshua, because Joshua does have a lot of, he does have content where he shows people certain things, either on his IG or either on his YouTube, and he shows you, the combination, and he's throwing these wide shots, these wide hooks, and a lot of people need to understand those punches are just for punch placement. Okay. For those who would listen and understand what Anthony Joshua was doing, he will come up like a bolo punch. He'll come up like a bolo punch and, throw those punches wide and telegraphed, almost like, a stunt guy would do a fight scene or choreograph a fight scene. But in the fight itself, I haven't seen Anthony Joshua do that lately. Maybe there were glimpses of that in the first Ruiz fight where he was throwing these hard hooks and these uppercuts, and they were missing because Andy Ruiz, despite being knocked down, was able to dip and dodge those. That may be what Mike Tyson was talking about. But as of late, I haven't saw that with Anthony Joshua. If anything, I've seen Anthony Joshua, his fast twitch reflexes are getting faster, especially with the jab. Okay, that jab to the body, jab to the head, and he couldn't have been in with a worse herky-jerky guy than Kubrat Pulev, because Pulev is a guy that he's on angst. You can see him; he's hyped, so he's jittery. Okay, so he's gonna come in there not giving you a definite movement he's doing because he's all over the place. And Joshua handled that well. And that was honestly one of the things that concerned me about Kubrat Pulev was his jab. That irky-jerky style of movement that he's accustomed to doing. And Anthony Joshua, even though when it first started, he did look weird. He looked kind of awkward because he was kind of putting his hands down and he was placing his hands here. Then he was putting his hands up almost like a Thai fighter. Then he was putting his hands here. But then when Pulev came to engage, the jab spoke for itself. Bow, 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 right? So he was able to land that jab because he remembers, I can box. And I think what's going to happen in this type of fight, if whoever wins the boxing match, whoever wins should expect for the other fighter to retaliate in rapid combinations, because both guys know how to throw combinations. Okay, I don't see as of right now what Mike Tyson was talking about. him being the most elusive, explosive fighter in the game, I think maybe he was looking at how he would throw punches, being a power puncher, as he admitted that Anthony Joshua was. Maybe that's one of the reasons where he was like, he telegraphs his punches. Because if you compare Mike Tyson to Anthony Joshua from explosiveness, there's no competition. You can't compete. Mike's coming at you with uppercuts from a peekaboo style with that type of rhythm and movement, versus Joshua coming, he's coming up, he's coming down. Maybe that's what he's talking about. And but I don't think that it's that bad to rule Anthony Joshua out of a fight. And if anything, Tyson Fury should worry about the punching power that he would put himself in, especially if he plans or intends on going in there and fighting Anthony Joshua the way he fought Deontay Wilder. Okay. Maybe that's a misconstruement, maybe. But that's what the man said. And mostly when Tyson Fury talks these days and says anything on what he does in the ring, we listen based on what has already happened. Okay. Unless he gives us reasons to do otherwise. But Mike Tyson, he says that, Anthony Joshua can't afford to telegraph his punches. Well, in all gist, I agree with him. No, Anthony Joshua can't afford to do shit like that because Tyson Fury's prepared for those type of things. And Mike Tyson, the way he's explaining Anthony Joshua, it sounds like the way Muhammad Ali explained George Foreman, if you guys can remember. So, it does look very interesting. But the one thing he has, he's a masterful puncher. Okay, but he can't afford to telegraph punches. So I guess in Mike Tyson's eyes, based on what he saw about Anthony Joshua, he can't afford to do that against Tyson Fury, but he backs Tyson Fury nonetheless. So there you go. You guys tell me what you think of Mike Tyson saying that Anthony Joshua cannot afford to telegraph his punches. Does he telegraph his punches? Leave your comments below. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.